Hold on, there we go. I had my mic muted for a few seconds, and we are back for the fifth segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this, in this final segment, I'm just going to talk about some WNBA basketball, some of the news, and some of the things that I would really like to talk about and bring to some people's attention, because again, the WNBA is finally gaining traction, and I wonder why they're gaining so much traction. It's almost like there's a certain player that everyone wants to watch. I say it so ironically and how do I say, with such sarcasm and enthusiasm, because it's like, for some reason, the rest of the WNBA players, they cannot stand this woman at all. They really can't. They really do not like the attention that Caitlyn is giving the WNBA for whatever reason. And another thing that she's doing that literally has never been done in the history of basketball, again, never been done. So she is on pace right now to be the first player ever in the NBA and WNBA to ever lead the NCAA in assists per game, and then lead the professional league in assists per game as a rookie. No NBA player has ever led in the NCAA in assists and then immediately after led in either the NBA or the WNBA in assists. And Caitlyn is going to be the first woman. She's on pace, the first person ever to do that, right? Should also be noted that Angel Reese's double-double streak is, it's over, done. So she broke her double-double streak is broken mainly because she couldn't score enough points. And one of the things that I noticed in the previous game was that she really wanted to score that final point. And I can understand why, but she was 3 for 13 from the field in the last game. That is disgusting. 3 for 13 on layups is absolutely disgusting. And I don't understand. Me personally, I used to like Angel. I really liked her gameplay. I really liked the way that she talked. I liked the way that she walked. I liked the way that she dressed. Kendrick Lamar reference right there. But again, the one thing that was that made her so thrilling to watch was that while she was playing, she was also talking, and she was talking that talk. And I like that. I like that when a player, has game and they aren't afraid to talk. That's something that I like. But the big problem that I have is how she's, trying to gain some sort of spotlight when she shouldn't gain any kind of spotlight. Her comments towards Caitlyn really soured me. I don't know if I'm just let me know what you guys think in the comments, but her comments towards Caitlyn and just being wanting the attention as much as Caitlyn has the attention, and just, trying to peddle her way, I didn't really agree with it. I'm sorry, I just don't agree with it. Yes, she is a staple of her game, but let your game do the talking. If someone is gaining more attention than you and you're talking about it, it just sounds like you're jealous at that point. And I cannot stand that. That's a thing. That's a common trend with the rest of the league. The rest of the league just doesn't like her. It really doesn't make any sense to me. And recently, at the dinner table, we were actually talking about how there's a possibility that Caitlyn, she is a very popular, substitution player in case one of the other WNBA players gets injured in the regular season and can't play for the USA women's team. So, personally, I don't think she should be as much as I like Caitlyn, I don't think she should be one of the substitution players, because for one, the rest of the team doesn't really like her. The team isn't going to like that she's on the team for whatever reason. Two, Team USA women's basketball is already going to mop the floor with every single country, because most of the countries that compete in the Olympics, unfortunately, I don't really like saying this, but unfortunately, the women there, they just don't really get as much opportunity to play, that much competition. Because one of the reasons why USA soccer team is so good is because the women's team and the women's national teams in other countries have just started, just recently just started. It's not something that was placed and set in stone in the beginning of the, I guess you could say, the Olympics and their conception, right? So And obviously the United States, arguably, like, we say that there are still some limitations that women have, unfortunately, but for the most part, women have way more rights here than they do in majority of the other countries. Again, majority of the other countries. I'm not saying all of them. It's a generalization. I don't really like doing generalizations, but for the most part, women here have much more opportunity to do what they want, be what they want, and have success in what they want. Now, they might not get paid as much, WNBA, but aside from that, they can still do what they want to do. And other countries, they don't really get that chance. So, and on top of that, the fact that everyone comes to the United States to play basketball, it's really like, it's expected for Team USA to just naturally destroy every other country. Him in the comments says Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are trying to be Bird versus Magic. Honestly, yeah, I like that. I like that there is some sort of rivalry in the WNBA, something to somewhat look forward to, like a matchup that's been going on since college, and a matchup that relatively had them neck and neck for most of the time. And, I still think that Angel Reese got benefited by having some better players than Caitlin. But aside from that, like, it's a rivalry. It's something that makes the team much more competitive. I don't like the comments that they give with each other, because while Larry and Magic, they were a rivalry, they at least respected each other's game, and they respected what each of them brought to the game. That's something that the NBA players, they always do with all of the athletes. Like, you have not heard not a single person say anything bad about Victor Wembanyama. And I always say this every single time. Not a single person said anything bad about Victor. But for the WNBA, oh my God, every single veteran athlete and every single player had some sort of bone to pick with Caitlin. And it bugs me. It really does bug me. But aside from that, we do have some WNBA news. Recently, and by recently I mean a few seconds ago, the Mercury just beat the Mystics 96-87. And, the Mercury, they easily dominated. Now, some of the players of the game, Natasha Cloud, she ended with a near triple-double, 12 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds. Kayla Copper, I almost messed that up, ended up getting 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 1 assist. Brittany Griner, you guys might know her for being, the person that was abducted by Russia, I guess you could say. Yeah, abducted or arrested by Russia. Pardon me. Arrested by the Russian government for, smuggling in, I believe it was a cartridge that she smuggled in. And yeah, it's like she got arrested for it, and that's really what she's most infamously known for. But again, like, she ended the game with 23 points and 7 rebounds. She is a beast. She's a monster. She got so much testosterone. And there was also Diana Taurasi, who is, in my opinion, not my favorite player, because she was the one that originally started the dislike towards Caitlin. Like, when people were, literally in the beginning, she was the one saying, like, it's a really tough league, we're not gonna get all the easy stuff, this, that, and the other. And it should be noted that Caitlin has gotten double teamed at half court more than any female player that I've ever seen. Like, I have never seen any female be, and I'm speaking into the microphone, that's why you guys can barely see me. I have never seen a single female, like, get doubled as much as this woman gets doubled. But I digress. Him in the comments, he says, who do you predict will win the MVP first? Obviously, it's going to be Caitlin. Like, no question about it. She should be the MVP right now. No. But really, it will be Caitlin. I mean, like, she's definitely going to win Rookie of the Year this year. She's going to win the MVP first. And, just off of this year and from what I've seen, Caitlin brings a lot more value to the team than Angel Reese brings value to her team. As unfortunate as that may sound to those Angel Reese fans, Caitlin does a lot more on the court, brings a lot more value to the team, and, as a result of that, should be the most valuable player. Now, unfortunately, most of the time, the MVP, at least for the NBA, it's awarded to the best player on the best team. Now, I have no idea if that's, like, usually the same case for the WNBA, but I would imagine it would be the same case, because that's how you determine value. Best player on the best team, best player on the winning team, this, that, and the other. But again, I would rather, I think it's Caitlin, because, she makes her teammates better. Her teammates can't catch the ball to save their lives, but she makes them better, and she demands double coverage. Now, the only thing that's really preventing her from being the best guard ever is her coach, in my opinion. Like, I think her coach is just holding her back to some sort of degree. And I could go on and on about, like, just the problems that the Fever have, but it's the problems that are sort of expected when you're being drafted first overall, because again, you're being put in a situation where either the team or some of the players or some of the coaches just aren't the best because they were arguably one of the worst teams. But that's all that I really have on the WNBA news. I mean, not really much that needs to be talked about aside from the fact that, the Fever are actually winning now, and, Caitlin is still on pace to doing something absolutely historic. But, I mean, a rookie leading the entire league in assists, like, I mean, come on. When has that ever been done? But aside from that, we are out of time for this final segment, and that is all that I have for you guys on this podcast. So thank you so much for tuning in to... Oh, wait just a second. There is one more comment in. So him says, I think that it will be Angel Reese only because she averages more stats in different categories, like Kobe getting robbed to Steve Nash. Like, yeah, sure, she might average more stats, but at the same time, you have to also understand how she's getting those stats. Most of her rebounds are ironically coming off of her own misses. And I'm sorry to say, but I mean, her stats, they aren't really that impressive when you really think about it. And on top of that, now the Chicago Sky, they aren't winning as much as, they were previously. So, again, I'm going to go ahead and look at the roster again just to, look at the stats, because I don't really see her stats as that impressive. Again, 13 and 12, most of the time, she's not even shooting 50% from the field. Like, think about that. She's taking nothing but layups, and she can't even shoot 50% from the field. She's averaging 13 and 12, sure. But again, when you look at the efficiency, it's like, ew, what is that? And when you look at Caitlin Clark, now I'm trying to get her stats. Give me a second. Hold on. Caitlin Clark, she's averaging 16, 5, and 7. So, if anything, you can argue that her stats, overall, she's getting rebounds and she's also able to get assists. And it's like, not to mention her efficiency, while she's not really all that efficient, her effective field goal is 50.5%, which again, not that bad, especially since she's taking way more shots than just layups and taking way deeper three-pointers. But again, up for debate. So, like I said before, that's all I have for this podcast. Again, remember to leave a positive review, subscribe to the show. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. And as usual, remember to use the link in the description to get your comments recognized, or the link displayed below the ticker on every show segment. That is gsmcpodcast.net. Really helps the show, makes it more interactive between myself and you guys. That is all I have for you today on this segment. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host, Nelson, and as always, take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow, where I'm actually going to be watching the game, Team USA. I'm actually going to be watching them play this time, as opposed to just, me completely forgetting that they played at 12 o'clock. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna